If you're struggling to overcome your blushing, part of the reason could be because of how you're choosing to measure your progress. And in this video, I'm actually going to share with you a video that I made for the private community I have for my coaching clients. I walk through why focusing on your thoughts and feelings going into social situations is not a good measure of progress, and what to measure your progress by instead. I thought it was too valuable not to share, so I wanted to share it publicly with you guys. This will help you a ton if you've already started the journey, but you're struggling to make progress, or it's always up and down. This should help you set a clearer path forward. And before we get into it, if you don't know who I am, my name is Colin Clem, and I overcame the fear and embarrassment around excessive blushing for good after 10 years of dealing with it, and I didn't use makeups, creams, medications, therapy, surgery, or anything like that. And now I run a coaching program called Breakthrough Blushing University, where I help people overcome this fear of blushing as well. If you're interested, I have a free training below that outlines my method and more details about the program, as well as an application to actually apply. And with that being said, let's get into the video. Hey guys, I wanted to make this quick video to realign everybody, to make sure that you guys are setting your sights on the right goal and that you're actually progressing towards the dream outcome, right? And I say that because I feel like I've potentially led some of you guys astray recently. And that's my fault in terms of having you focused on a little bit of the wrong thing. And I thought of this because today I had a great reminder that me trying to operate this business and actually get it off the ground and allow myself to continue doing this full time, all that matters is just doing the actions, right? Doing the things that are required. Posting the content, reaching out to people who are interested, getting them onto calls, getting them to join the program, and then fulfilling and making sure that they're actually getting the results that they bought, that they purchased, that they signed up for. And so the only thing that would stop me from doing that are my own feelings, right? At any one of those stages, my own feelings, my own fears, my own thinking that I don't enjoy this, or this should be this way, or like all these beliefs, right? And so sometimes we spend all this time trying to change our beliefs or change the way we feel about the situation in order to get ourselves to do it. But I am humbly reminded that you just have to do the things. And the more that you can focus on doing the things, whether you feel good or not, the less important that the feelings become. And as a result, the feelings start to fade in importance. Like they start to, the feeling, that intensity starts to become less and less noticeable because you know you're going to do it either way. And so I bring this up because I feel like recently in some of my coaching calls, I've been really focused on like making sure you feel right, like making sure you feel good going into these situations. And I realized that might be leading some people astray a little more than I intended. And that's, again, my fault. But the reason I'm making this video is because I want to remind you that really, what is the ultimate goal here? The ultimate goal is for you to live the life that you want to live, whether you blush or not. And like the feeling of blushing coming and going is completely irrelevant to you living the life that you want, right? Because think about somebody who doesn't deal with this. Why don't they deal with it? Because like them blushing is not going to stop them. It's just irrelevant. Like they don't fear it. They don't feel embarrassed about it because they just don't think about it. And so how do we get to the point of not thinking about it? Well, you simply have some identity, some vision, some goal that you have, and you align yourself with doing those actions or doing the things that are required for that goal. And you just do those things no matter what. Because the only way you can truly know if you're progressing in this process is if you let blushing deter you. Do you let blushing affect your actions? If you don't let blushing affect your actions, what will happen is your brain will stop perceiving it as a threat. Because fear is just your brain trying to get you to change your behavior. And so if you just refuse, if you just say, I'm not going to change my behavior, like you can make me feel as terrible as you want. You can make me try to be as embarrassed as you want, but I'm still going to do this thing. I'm still going to speak up. I'm still going to go in. I'm still going to I'm not going to divert my eyes. I'm not going to hide. Like no matter how strong the feeling is, I'm going to sit here and deal with this. If you can do that, then you are making progress. Like that is the goal, right? Is for you to be able to sit there and do it, because every time that you do that, the fear gets weaker. The embarrassment gets weaker because you're sitting there and you're proving it's not as bad as you thought. You're getting firsthand proof. And the thing that your brain is so afraid of is not actually anything to be afraid of. And so your fear, that urge, that instinct that you have to run away from the situation or whatever the habit is that you're in, that urge gets weaker when it knows you're not going to listen, right? So I'm making this video because I feel like I've potentially led some people astray in terms of like really focusing on how they feel day to day, or how you feel going into these situations. But I don't think it's that important. And I know that sounds kind of ridiculous. You're like, Colin, I thought that's what I was joining for. But when I say that, I say it because day to day, your emotions are going to fluctuate. You can't ever rely on how you're going to feel from one day to another. Some days you're going to feel motivated. Some days you're going to be like, oh my God, I really don't want to do this. And that's just how life is, right? I mean, it's literally like that with anything you do. But what you can measure is whether or not you're progressing towards the goal or identity that you want for yourself. That's the only thing that you truly can measure. And so if you just continuously, whether you feel those blushing urges or not, act in alignment with the identity or goal that you have that matters to you, and you just focus on that, and you say, like, this is what I'm going to do, and then you go into situations and you might blush, but you feel proud of yourself. And you're like, I'm glad that I did it because I'm building up the identity that I really want for myself. That is progress in the right direction, right? And as long as you don't let blushing prevent you from going into the situation, or make you hide, make you dart your eyes away. Like if you can just stay strong every time that you do that, the fear gets weaker. But don't judge it by how you feel in that instant, because a lot of times it's gonna suck. But over time, as you prove that you're not going to deter, that you're not going to be controlled by these urges or by this fear, that is when the fear gets weaker. But it's funny because is the fear getting weaker or are you just getting stronger, right? There's kind of a catch-22, because if you're just doing the thing, if you're just focused on the activity and saying, I'm going to do this no matter what, you're almost building up your muscle, right? You're building up your mental muscle, your ability to handle those urges. And so that almost becomes the goal, is feeling the urges, not trying to get them to go away. So as you go into this week, as you go through this week, just remember the goal is not to not have the thoughts, right? The goal is not to feel good going into the situation. The goal is for you to have the panic occurring and standing strong and saying, I care about being a leader. I care about setting a good example. I care about being confident. I care about facing this fear. I'm done letting this thing control me. I'm going to sit here and I'm going to keep talking to this person. I'm going to sit here and I'm going to keep making eye contact. I know I'm turning red. I know my eyes are about to water. But it must be done. Like, I joined this program to overcome this, and I'm not waiting any longer. And so I'm going to start taking action. And it's those actions that you can feel proud of afterward. And those actions are what you need to come to me with and say, Colin, I did this. I acted differently than I normally would. And one moment at a time, you're not going to feel a massive difference all the time. Sometimes you'll have these big breakthroughs. Sometimes you're going to be like, oh my gosh, it finally clicked. You will get that occasionally. But usually, each workout, you don't see muscle gain, right? You just don't. But it's the compounding effect of those workouts that create the muscle gain. So you're just building your mental muscle. So time to get jacked. Have a good week.